Autonomy is an illusion. Autonomy is an illusion.
If you didn't like that intro, you're not an American. That's not true. Maybe you're not American. We have listeners from all around the world. Like 1% of our listeners is from Ireland. So you know what? Shout out Ireland. Your soccer team's not as good as ours. Welcome to episode 14 of Fans of the Week by your hosts,
Durf
and Dylan. Boy, oh boy, it feels good. Right into our unofficial sponsor, since we've already kind of touched on it. The unofficial sponsor for this episode is Freedom. Freedom brought to you by yours and truly, the Screaming Eagles themselves, the USA's national men's soccer team.
Screaming Eagles.
Beaten. Not just tying, not losing. We beat the Iran men's national soccer team. If anyone... Have you seen any of those clips from like the reporters during...
No.
Boy, oh boy, those reporters were bad yesterday during the U.S. team's media day yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of Iranian reporters that were asking some very odd questions. They asked, what's his name, Tyler Adams? Tyler, I know his first name's Tyler. He's one of the captains, and he's black. Okay. And one of the reporters asked him, like, do you find it weird that you are a captain of a team of a country that discriminates against their people so harshly? What are we?
Wow.
What are we doing here? This is soccer. Why are we doing this? But I guess it's fair because I saw one clip of one country that lost. They were like in the streets flipping cars because their soccer team lost. So, I mean, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Belgium. Yeah.
Was it Belgium? All right.
Yeah. It was like the city of Brussels. They like shut down like some parts of the city because of so much violence.
It's a soccer game, folks. You'll be okay. I promise. There's another one coming around in 4 years. It's okay, you know, like you'll be fine. So yeah, that's our unofficial sponsor there, Freedom. Thank you, boys, for your hard work. They're gonna go and play the Netherlands on Saturday.
Nice.
We're on to the round of 16 in the World
knockout
Cup.
bracket.
The knockout bracket. I forgot what it was called, knockout bracket or round of 16. I've seen both.
Yeah.
So, all right. So let's get into some Week 12 football with Fans of the Week here, talking about the Seahawks and Bills. Lead off with the Seahawks real quick because they suck. They suck mad balls. They're not good at football. They are who we thought they were. Whatever.
R.I.P. Denny Green.
Whatever terminology you want to use, this is where the Seahawks football team has returned to. They lost to the Raiders 40-34 in overtime after they missed a field goal in overtime. The Seahawks could only muster 5 yards. They had to punt, and then Josh Jacobs rips off an 86-yard touchdown run to cap his day off, historical rushing day. Just absolutely annihilate. He looked like an elite running back along with an elite wide receiver because he also had a couple of catches for like 70-some-odd yards as well. So just absolutely destroyed our team. And like it goes into one of the points that we brought up last week was Josh Jacobs versus a newly gross defense that was discovered against the Bucs when they were in Germany. Rachaad White destroyed the Seahawks defense for like 170 plus rushing yards. Josh Jacobs, who is much better than Rachaad White, he basically doubled his yardage. Like it was not good. So yeah, Jacobs absolutely did. That was a matchup that we did not win. Seahawks versus the bye week lag. I don't know. Like it was the Quandre Diggs interception right off the start. He had another interception on another drive. The offense scored points. It honestly didn't seem like. I think the bye week they did pretty well out of the bye week. The defense has just reverted back to the defense of like weeks 2 through 5, just letting up 1 billion points and 1,000 billion yards. It's just what it is, I guess. And Trey Brown, the third point was watching Trey Brown come back. He played 3 snaps. So I don't know if he played those 3 snaps and then Pete was just kind of like, okay, that was fun. Go sit on the bench now. Or if it was he played 3 snaps and he's like, man, I just still don't feel great. Like something still feels wrong out there, which seems like a weird thing to bring up because you have your warm ups, you have practice all week. It's like, and like now is the time to bring up that you're not feeling great. I don't know. So he only played 3 snaps. That was a little bit of a disappointment. I guess they probably could have used him out there because no one else was doing a goddamn thing. The other point I brought up here was the Seahawks bye week. The Niners won their matchup against the Saints, so the Seahawks are firmly out of first place of the division now. But the Cardinals lost and the Rams also lost. So those 3 seeds, the first, second, and third, or the fourth, third, and second are all the same. But the Niners are starting to kind of pull away in the division.
Yeah.
The favorite bet here was a Geno Smith over 1.5 passing touchdowns because he has thrown 2 or more in 8 out of 10 games this season. He has now thrown 2 or more in 9 out of 11 games this season. He did throw 2 passing touchdowns this past game. Only 2. He threw 2, so it was barely. But we got there. We did it.
Yeah.
And the bet hits. So
nice.
Geno Smith is still, I think he's thrown 19 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, maybe. That's a pretty good ratio for a guy that we did not expect to play this well this season.
It is very good ratio, for sure.
It leaves the Seahawks in a very peculiar spot about what we're going to... I still feel like since Geno couldn't clutch up at the end of the fourth quarter and then clutch up in overtime, like he's missing the clutch gene, and this is what everybody in the NFL world, especially Seahawks fans, have been saying, like, we want to see him win a game. Go on a game-winning drive. He can't do it. He hasn't done it yet. He literally has not done it. He didn't do it last year when he came in for those 3 games for Russell Wilson, and he hasn't done it as a starter. So it's an issue. So I still feel like if we get our rookie quarterback in this draft, he sits behind Geno. I feel like he's a great guy to learn from. He's a great leader. He's a great quarterback. Pick up a few tips from him, and then kick him to the curb after maybe 2 years and let the rook in. That's kind of where I'm at. But that's it for the Seahawks. We got the Bills played the Detroit Lions.
Yeah, on Thanksgiving, which feels like forever ago.
I was just going to say, because I was looking for the Bills matchup on Sunday. Like, who are they playing today? Nope. That already happened.
No, that happened 3 days before Sunday. But yeah, the Lions were no joke. Bills, I would say, squeaked out a win on a game-winning field goal. 28-25 Bills. So the 3 things we were looking to watch on Thursday were the Bills run defense versus Jamal Williams, which I feel like the Bills did a pretty good job. I feel like when the Bills play a team that's expecting to run the ball, they do pretty well, minus the whole Dalvin Cook breaking one loose.
One exception.
Right. So even though the Bills defense didn't have Tremaine Edmonds or Gregory Rousseau, Matt Milano, AJ Klein, who they just signed to the practice squad, then activated to the roster, who came from Chicago, but he was previously with the Bills. They were able to really do what they needed to do. So there was no issue there stopping the run. They did a pretty good job there. Second point here was Singletary and company running on the Lions defense. Singletary and Cook didn't have too bad of a day. Josh Allen was the key component in rushing there for the Bills offense. It's something that the Lions defense just can't cover when you have a running quarterback or the quarterback that can take off and make solid yardage out of it. So
I think that's 5 weeks in a row now because we brought it up last week. That's 5 weeks in a row now where the leading rusher of the game was the opposing team's quarterback. That's pretty.
Right.
That's pretty wild. That's
Yeah.
like the wildest stat I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Maybe not ever, but it's tops. It's pretty good.
Right. Then the last key matchup here to watch was the Bills being prepared on a very hectic short week. Definitely a crazy week for the Bills. Leaving Detroit Sunday, leaving and then leaving Buffalo again on Wednesday. I don't think it affected them terribly for this game. They definitely maybe seemed a little slow out the gate, but didn't, but then, we're able to work things out throughout the game and, get that win like they need to. So, other points were more stuff on Diggs. He had a little more. Obviously, one of the first passes he dropped.
I thought I saw that play bounced right off of his chest, and my immediate thought was, "Oh boy, the Bills are losing today." like he had 15 targets. He led the team in targets, but only 8 catches, 77 yards in the tutty.
Right. But when it mattered, Stephon Diggs made that catch.
Yep.
So, I like it. I think when Allen tends to lean more on Diggs, hopefully that gets Gabe Davis out of his little funk and plays a little bit more aggressive, which I think we saw a little bit against the Lions, but I think we need to see more. I don't know. It just seems like I'm worried that Gabe Davis is going to turn into what we got with Kelvin Benjamin or Sammy Watkins, and kind of being like, oh, the ball's not there, I'm not going to catch it. I'm not jumping for that or diving for it. So it makes me a little nervous, but hopefully Gabe Davis can persuade my opinion by the end of the year. So then the last other point here was Nyheim Hines ever running the ball for the Bills. He actually did. Unfortunately, it was for -5 yards.
Oof.
So he needs 3 yards in the next 5 weeks to surpass Reggie Bush on season numbers here. So I think he can do it.
You'd like to think.
Hopefully they give him the ball again to run, and they don't use him. He's not just using the passing game and the return game. Return game though for him I think it's been phenomenal. Like, I think that was well worth the trade to get rid of Zach Moss. So, and then favorite bet against the Lions, I went with over 54.5.
So close.
Expecting an explosion by the Bills. Turns out it was a very close game because the Lions are no joke. There's good things coming for this Lions team. I feel like they've got some good pieces. They should be getting Jameson Williams back soon. I think they're short a quarterback.
Yeah.
I think they're short a more dominant quarterback. I think Jared Goff can get the job done, but I don't think you build around him completely.
No.
But yeah, so I was expecting an explosion. Turns out it was a 53. Yeah.
So it was close.
Short by 1.5.
All you needed was a safety. Safety or another field goal or something. That's all we needed.
Right? Yeah, so.
I had Josh Allen leading rusher for the game and over his rushing yards, which I believe was like 49.5. And yeah, both of those hit. It was a big Thanksgiving. We hit a lot of bets on Thanksgiving. It was a good day. Good day. So yeah, that was our week 12 action. Our week 13 action. The Seahawks are going to be facing a division rival in this one. They get to go and face the Rams, which I already have a bad feeling because they opened up as 8-point favorites, but they're already down to 7.5-point favorites. Usually when you see that kind of line movement that early on, like we could see this down to like 6.5 by Sunday. That means the books know something. That's a bad feeling to have when there's like reverse line movement.
Right.
And the Rams are missing everyone. They don't have their running back is Cam Akers right now, who didn't even want to be here. The fact that he's still here and he's playing is pretty wild based off everything that went down in the offseason and like in the early parts of the season. But Cooper Kupp's out. Allen Robinson's season's over. He's getting foot surgery. Aaron Donald is dealing with some kind of issue with a foot or a hamstring or something. The team's in shambles. All right, Matthew Stafford's not playing. They got Bryce Perkins out there. I mean, this is one of the most hardest downfalls I think I've seen from a team after winning a Super Bowl. It's hard to watch right now. It's that bad. They're what 3-8 or something, 3-9.
It's something ridiculous like that. Yeah,
really
it's
bad. So the Seahawks are going to go in there after a tough loss, and they're going to have to do these three things if they're going to want to win, or at least things that I'm looking for, some matchups I'm looking for. They have to stop the goddamn run. Just stop the runner. Like, holy shit. Like, Josh Jacobs popped off on you. Rashad White popped off on you. Please don't let Cam Akers pop off on you. Or Kyrene Williams, who also had 11 carries in the Rams last game. I don't even know who that is. But I guarantee you, Kyrene Williams, everyone's going to know who he is after this game unless they decide they want to stop the run. Because both of these guys could carry for 100 yards if they play anything like they did last week. So whatever Pete said, they made some adjustments after the Bucs game and the bye week. Redo it. Hit the reverse button because that whatever that is, it did not work. Okay, it far from worked.
Turn around and go back.
Yeah, like I know, like the Bucs game wasn't great either, but like you need to whatever you're doing like between weeks 6 and 10 or something. Like find that, figure it out. Another part of the defense is the pass rush. We applied zero pressure on Matt Stafford. I think we had 4 hits total, and 3 of them came in the first quarter. After that, we didn't even touch Matt. We didn't even touch Derek Carr. Didn't even touch him. So whoever these pass rushers think they are, they're not him. Darrell Taylor was supposed to be this huge piece this year. He hasn't done shit. Boye Mafe was the preseason pass rushing hero that we thought we finally got a good pass rusher. He's nowhere to be seen. Bruce Irvin, I know he's a fun story. He came back and got a sack. He's been nowhere the past couple weeks. He's an old man. Our biggest pass rusher is Poona Ford, and he's like a 330-pound nose tackle, okay? That's not a good thing. So figure it out. I know Bryce Perkins can be a little bit more mobile than most quarterbacks. I don't know how mobile he is. He was their leading rusher last week, so he's a little mobile, but he's not like a Lamar Jackson or Jalen Hurts or something.
No, he's not. I don't think he's super mobile. I think from watching the Chiefs-Rams game last week, it really depends on – for the Seahawks, I think it depends how much can they contain at the line of scrimmage.
They can't.
So – okay, how about your corners coming off their assignments to stop the run?
I think that's a better bet, especially if Trey Brown gets more snaps this week. I know because he's
right.
The thing with Trey Brown is he is good at recognizing plays, and he's good at attacking, and he's very good open field tackler. That's why we miss him because no one else can tackle on this team at all. So we need pass rush. We need to apply some pressure. And like you just said, we need to figure out containment. If Bryce is going to run, then we need to, bare minimum, just keep him behind the line of scrimmage. If he wants to roll out, fine, but put some pressure in his face. Last but not least, I really enjoyed seeing DK Metcalf get more involved. DK Metcalf had I think 9 catches, 90 some odd yards, but he had 14 or 15 targets. I love it. Do more. Inject that stat line into my veins because DK Metcalf is going to be the future wide receiver for this team. He's going to be the wide receiver one. He's going to be the leader of this offense, at least until our rookie quarterback is up to snuff and, maybe he'll be the leader one day depending on who it is. But DK is going to be the guy leading this team. He's the big dude. Everyone knows who he is. He's the superstar. He's the guy under 25 years old who you can have forever. Give him his catches. Give him his targets. Make sure he's happy. and he will dominate a game for you. He has the ability to do that.
Right.
Just give him the opportunity to do it. And then you can throw a couple of Tyler Lockett down the field because he's an amazing route runner, and like obviously you get to give him his share too. But
Yeah.
and he's gonna be going up against Jalen Ramsey. I don't care. Jalen Ramsey has been turned into burnt toast this season. I want to embarrass Jalen Ramsey this week. I want DK Metcalf to make Jalen Ramsey his baby. I want DK to be Jalen's daddy. That's what I want. That's my main goal out of this week is like for Jalen Ramsey's stat line to be like 12 targets, 9 catches, 98 yards, and a touchdown on Jalen Ramsey. I want it so bad.
So, did you hear about the trespasser at the Arrowhead field the other day?
No, I didn't. Please let me
Apparently, security had to stop this person that's on the field at Arrowhead the other day. It was like early mornings after the game ended between the Rams and the Chiefs, and they're like, "What's this guy doing out here?" And they get up to him, and then it was Jalen Ramsey.
Wow.
Still thought he was playing, and he thought he shut down the Chiefs receivers, but they had all gone home.
He was still out there looking for Travis Kelce.
Yep.
So where'd he go? I can't find him. I can't find where'd he go. Oh my God. I'm so bad at football. Yeah, I saw that on Twitter today. As soon as you said it, I was just like, oh yeah, this is a good one. That was a good one. That was a good one. Thanks for bringing that up.
No problem.
Jalen Ramsey's so bad at football. My other point here is pretty simple. This is only one of 2 wins I want for the rest of the season for the Seahawks. I want them to sweep the Rams. Just to completely demoralize the Rams into, you suck against all teams in the league, but you doubly suck against the Seahawks. That's what I want. I want to sweep the Rams and then just lose the rest of the season. It's done. We're done here, okay? Playoffs, it's okay. We had some fun. We were good for a little while. It's done. All right. Sweep the Rams, lose the rest of them, maybe secure like a top 15 pick, hopefully. Probably end up being top 20, but we'll see.
Yeah, I would say top 15 is probably a good spot there.
If they sweep the Rams, that means they'll be 8-9. So below 500 should get you top 15.
Should. I bet my guess would be right on that 14-15 mark.
Yeah, right there. Which I'll be good with. And then we'll have like a top 3, if not top 2 pick from the Broncos, which will just be amazing.
Yeah.
And my favorite bet, I'm just going to keep it simple, folks. Geno Smith over 1.5 passing touchdowns. Geno Smith over 1.5 passing touchdowns is my wagon right now, and I'm going to ride that shit till the wheels fall off. All right? Because that dude is throwing tutties like it's his job. Because it is. We have the Bills playing Thursday night football.
Yeah. The second Thursday night game in a row here for the Bills. And it is a division rival game also for the Bills and Pats. It's like the Rams and Seahawks. So Bills right now are -4.
So it's divisional rivalry weekend.
Yeah.
That's fun. I didn't even think of that. That's fun. I like
this
that.
This is an absolute must-win game for the Bills because they are currently 0-2 in the division. If they go 0-3, I don't know. I don't know how the Bills make the playoffs if they do that. So
that'd be pretty wild if they do, though. If you think about it, like if you go 0-3 in the division to start, and then like maybe if you get lucky and like go 2-4 by the end of the year, but still make the playoffs, that like especially with everyone else in the division doing so well,
right?
It would take a miracle.
Yeah. So, am I completely worried about this game? No, but a little bit. But Bills seem to play well in New England, so the last couple of years. So I think it's going to be okay. So my 3 key matchups here to watch for the game on Thursday night is the Bills off O line versus the Pats D line. Deion Dawkins has left the game against the Lions. He's been not at practice the last couple of days. He has had an ankle issue, so David Questenberry stepped into his left tackle spot during the game for the Lions.
So
didn't
bad.
do a terrible
Oh, no?
job.
He didn't do terrible. Okay, all right.
Wasn't terrible, but it's no Deion. And then with Mitch Morse was out last week, so they had to swing Ryan Bates into center, which causes a chain effect of where they put other guys in the guard positions. So it's a doable offensive line. The Bills are, I believe, get Ike Bucker back, or he's active now. So I think they're down to 18 or 19 days now to fully activate him to the 53-man roster. But it looked like from what I've seen in practice, he was already doing okay. But the thing I'm keeping an eye on with this offensive line is really Matthew Judon and that Patriots rush or pass rush. So I think the Bills have an good offensive game plan that they can accommodate if they're not getting packet or pass protection like they should be. But that's something to definitely keep an eye on because hopefully the Bills can just get healthy. That's really a big thing here.
Got to start healing up.
This
You're
team
going the wrong
falling
direction.
apart.
Yeah. I just saw like Von Miller said on his podcast. I just got a notification saying he's targeting week 14 as his return date.
Yep.
So they'll be against the Jets.
Yep. So it'd be a 2 weeks off basically to recover. So not terrible because I can kind of we'll get into that a little bit. Von Miller here with the Bills' run defense is my second key matchup to watch here. Ed Oliver did a really good job stepping up on that defensive line, and helped out kind of take over that leadership role a little bit on the defensive line when Von Miller went out. When he got rolled up, it was weird because I didn't think it was that bad of an injury with the way he got rolled up on, but apparently the body weight pushed the knee the wrong way a little bit, so there was some lateral meniscus damage, but not an ACL tear. So I guess it's not great, but if they need it, I think if Von Miller needs to wait a few weeks longer to make sure he's healthy for January, hopefully February, then by all means just do it.
I feel like you gotta wait to see like how these next few games play out. Like if you're in a better position playoff wise than you were, like if you're trending in the right direction, it's like okay, maybe sit out another week. But if you're like struggling, like boy, we need all hands on deck, then maybe rush them back like week 14 right away.
Right. But yeah, so this Bills run defense did pretty well last week. Was it Ramondre Stevenson for the Pats is kind of no joke.
Yeah.
So that's going to be something to keep an eye on. The Bills are going to need to stop him. The Bills last week were without Tremaine Edmonds and Gregory Rousseau. I believe both of them have been full participants, or at least limited in practice so far this week. So that is a good sign to see those two come back. It'd be really good to get Gregory Rousseau back on the defensive line because for a second-year player, he's doing really well. Yeah. I think with Von Miller there, it's really that spark that Groot needs to get the job done. Plus, another thing last week too is that the defensive line rotation was so bad because they had such limited players on defense.
They're out there like every snap.
So that does, if the Bills can, rotate correctly and get the most out of the players, then, that's the key. That's a key to success for sure. And then the last key matchup here to watch is the Bills running game. I think the Bills are going to need to lean on this run game pretty heavily. They've done a pretty good job recently, I would say, the last couple of weeks is kind of leaning onto it a little more. I think we saw it pretty well against the Browns. They leaned on it to a point against the Lions, but because of the way the game was playing out, they had to kind of lean more toward the pass. But I do like the way that we're seeing Singletary and James Cook, start to be more efficient. If more efficient, I think is a good way to put it. And I'm not saying they're doing a great job, but they're getting the job done for the most part. But I think that run game has to be there in order to allow the play action to be set up correctly, and then to allow the Bills to pick apart this Patriot secondary with Davis and Diggs and McKenzie, and hopefully make it easier for Josh Allen for sure. So my other point here is, are we going to see Josh Allen look more normal since the elbow injury? This is now, this is now week 4 since the injury. So he's been able to play through it. Now, when this happened his rookie year, when it was more of a UCL tear or, really more serious injury, he missed 4 weeks. They shut him down right away and went from there. Now, this time around, he's played through it. Yes, the injury wasn't as bad, but does that delay his full recovery by a week or two? It could. One thing I think I noticed with Allen is that he's been kind of off and on using the elbow brace in practice. So it could just be he has one bad day with the elbow and next day he's good. And it's going to take him probably a little longer to get that full range of motion in his throws. Making those sidearm throws aren't going to be his forte for a little bit because that puts that strain on the muscle. So that is what I'm looking for in this game for the Bills and Patriots. And my favorite bet here is I'm just going to take the Bills -4. I think the Bills will win by 4 or more.
Easy. Easy bets. You don't have to overthink it. It's nice and simple. -4. Mm-hmm. We're going to beat them by at least a tutty. Bare minimum. Well, that's our Seahawks and Bills recap and look forward to. I mean, by the time you all hear this episode, the Bills will be getting ready to play. They'll be in New England, ready to go. This episode drops on Thursdays on any podcasting platform, as well as YouTube. And you can find Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, all of that good jazz at Durf and Dylan. And you can search for the podcast Fans of the Weast on your favorite podcasting platforms. We have been your hosts,
Durf
and Dylan. Go Hawks.
Go Bills.
Autonomy is an illusion.